Hello everybody and welcome back to Season 4 of the Pokemon Indy series. Today we're here at Laguna Seca Raceway for the running of the Monterey Grand Prix. It is the series' first ever race here at Laguna Seca, 2.2 mile road course with 11 turns, and it's where the IndyCar series will have its season finale race in 2019. So on the pole for this race will be the 27 of Grayson Acevedo, and Mo Baba will start alongside him in the front row. 12 laps around Laguna Seca. It'll be the first time these open wheel cars will be running at this track. And we only have 3 races to go after this. No, including this will be 3 races to go. We'll have the Glen and of course the Indianapolis 500. But here we go. The green flag waves at Laguna Seca. Not a bad start for Grayson Acevedo as he is off and running. It is a brand new track for all these drivers. They've never run here before. The last time we've been to Laguna Seca was way back in the early days of the Pokemon Cup series. Yeah, I think they had 1 or 2 races at the track at one point in their history. So it's really nice to have Laguna Seca back in some form. Probably hasn't changed since the last time we have Laguna Seca, but this time it's with the open wheel cars. They're going to go down the corkscrew. The corkscrew's a tough one for some of these drivers. At testing, when we tested this track out, some of these drivers actually spun in this corner. But it doesn't appear that that's going to be happening here, as they probably fixed a couple things and are able to run pretty smoothly at that corkscrew in the first lap of the race. Lap 1's in the books here at Laguna Seca, and Grayson Acevedo's out in front. You just gotta love the views that they have at this track. It's the only Laguna Seca I could find for the game, yet it does have some beautiful views of the track. So you got to admire whoever created this. It was a long time ago this track was released, so I do not remember who created this track, but it's a long time since there has been an update to this track, and hopefully there will be one soon, as the IndyCar series will be returning to Laguna Seca for their finale races in this year. The pack is pretty much pulled away. They've all separated from one another. And already Grayson Acevedo has built up a lead up to almost a second. This is a race, though, that Acevedo wants to win because he's been so close many times this season and is never able to get that win. Maybe we'll see if this race will be the one that he gets the win at. Let's take a tour around Laguna Seca at this exact track. This is the only one I could find, like I said. So it's really an old version of it. I believe there is a new layout of Laguna Seca, if I'm not mistaken, that they recently made. It's a little different than this one that they're using right now. There you see the corners that they have to make, the turns and chicanes, and the track has. Then they got to go through the corkscrew, as you saw a couple times. These drivers had to really slow down to get through the corkscrew perfectly. When we ran tests at this track before to make sure this worked, there were a lot of drivers that spun on the corkscrew. But it appears though that has slowed down. Look at this. See how tough see how tough they got to turn? You saw how they turned right. They were like, it's probably the toughest part of the track. The corkscrew is gonna really mess you up if you don't turn carefully. So there's your tour around Laguna Seca and what to expect probably when the IndyCar series returns to this track eventually in their season finales. Well, at least he was able to get the lead over a second. Looks like DJ Dogo, John Andrews, Probably a little competitive edge right here. Closest battle we got, I don't know if I would even call it a battle, is between Andrews and Dogo, and that's for 18th. But Andrews and Dogo have won races this season though, so they're not too worried about those bad finishes affecting their standing. But we do, however, have only 2 races left after this one. Watkins Glen is coming up next, and then we have our season finale, the Indianapolis 500, to determine who will be your champion in the Pokemon Indy Series Season 4. So far, the Indy Series itself has been pretty spectacular and very bizarre, just to say the least. We've had races, we've had some bizarre finishes we never thought we'd get in any of our series. Had some surprising, unfamiliar winners out of this series. And they might be names, and there might be some names that you may recognize eventually if they decide to sign up for the Pokemon Cup Series in Season 38. Yeah, we have some names here that we've never heard of that are all trying to make a name for themselves here in the Indy Series. We might see some of them, if not all of them, in the Cup Series eventually, somewhere down the line, if not in the next upcoming season of the Cup Series, Season 38. They're off to promising starts here. They're doing pretty well, showing what they've got. Grayson Acevedo is in the lead. He's actually the second winningest active Cup driver. Excluding Pichu, he's actually, I believe, the second winningest active Cup driver in the series. Johnny Garner, I believe, has more wins. Only Johnny Garner, I believe, is more winning than Acevedo. And he wants to add a Indy Series win to that list. 7 laps to go. There's really not much to say about this race, but they're trying it out. They're enjoying the experience anyway in Laguna Seca, even though it's not really competitive. It hasn't really been competitive from the start, but they're making the most of their opportunity at this track. There'll probably be some improvements in this track next season, but for now, it's only their first race, so they're getting the hang of it, you know. They're going to try to find what's the best lines, what the best speeds are in. It's pretty much just basically almost a test, you know, this race to see how it would go. But Acevedo, though, is leading that so-called test, and we're still going to have a good race out of it. We might have pit stops, though. That could shake up the field. Acevedo's lead might not be safe after pit stops. You never know what could happen after the pit when the drivers hit the pits. We've seen some drivers try to gamble, stay out a little longer, a lap or two longer, and try to get as much of the lead as possible. So if they come out of pit road, they'd still have the lead. Still no pit stops yet, so we might see him near the end of the race. That could add some excitement. We're halfway through with 6 to go at Laguna Seca. Mo Baba runs second position. Sometimes he gains ground, sometimes he doesn't. He's trying everything he can to gain on the 27 car. It's been all about Acevedo today. It's been his dominating race. Mo Baba, though he's also a rising star, he might be in the Cup Series next season. Eli Bright runs third. He's also a veteran in the Cup Series. He also has a few wins in the Cup Series. So is Cullen Francis. He's also a former champion. Francis is a former champion in the Cup Series. And fifth, Chase Wisted won the first race at St. Petersburg, and now was looking to get fourth spot away. There hasn't been a lot of action in this race, like I said, but these guys are starting to close in on each other. We might see some intensity here. Wisted won the first race, also St. Petersburg, and he's also a promising name in the series. Right on cue, the drivers are heading to pit road for pit stops. Looks like Philip Goldberg's the only one to take the gamble. Oh no, JD Figueroa and a couple more drivers decide to follow him and stay out to lead. All right, so the action's going to be intense. This is good. Let's see who comes out first off pit road in the first set of pit stops. Acevedo's out first. No surprise there. So Acevedo's out first without any surprises. Looks like a couple cars are having trouble on pit road. Looks like Francis is having a lot of trouble on pit road. Oh, what a tough break for Colin Francis. Was running in the 4th spot, and now a bad pit stop, and he's the last one to go out. Wow. Something must have gone wrong on pit road. Oh no! Priya McShane went upside down. How did that happen? Oh, wow. She got hit by Robert Smith exiting pit road. Oh my gosh. How does that even happen? How in the heck does that happen? Oh, and also Garrett Albertson was hit. I think Evan Hunter might have spun out. Oh man. There is a caution. And that might be good news for Goldberg. He might save a little bit more fuel or might have to come to pit under caution. But with just 4 laps to go, anything could happen. Wow, just when you thought this race was boring, something big happens, a big caution, and it really is going to set up an interesting battle to the finish line. All right, Philip Goldberg stays out, leads under caution with 4 to go. We'll see what happens under yellow. All right, so let's see. Might have to pit under caution. We'll have to wait and see what they decide to do. They're going to pit under caution. Yeah, they're going to pit under caution. They just can't make it. You just can't make it on no stops. You just can't do it. So with 2 laps to go, they're going back to the green. And Acevedo's out in front. Oh no, Brad Stover didn't get his car going. Yikes, I just noticed Brad Stover did not get going on the start of the race. So that's a tough break for that 88 team. But Grayson Acevedo is going to lead the pack with 2 to go here at Laguna Seca. He has led every lap so far except for 2 of them, but that happened under caution when the cycle was in the middle and drivers were crashing each other out off pit road. We're green. Oh wow, Eli Bride looked like he was going to take a chance, and now Chase Wisted has a problem. He's really slow on the corner. Oh man, what happened to Chase Wisted on that start? He was really slow in entering the turn, held up the field, and now he's dropping. That's so weird. And Josh Drake has moved up to 4th. Oh wow, I do not know what happened to Chase Wisted on that corner. That is so strange. Wow. Acevedo is off and running. He is pulled away. He does not want any more surprises. He just wants to win this race. He wants to win so badly. He's been so close in a couple of these races, man. He wants to win real bad. No better way to do it than Laguna Seca. Coming to the white flag for Grayson Acevedo. He's got 1 more lap around here, Laguna Seca, and he could close the book on this race. There's the white flag. 1 more time around for Acevedo, and he's got to be perfect here and got to avoid any big mistakes. Figueroa's on pit road again. Must have had an issue, but it won't matter now. Gonna be 2 races left after this season. Acevedo with a much needed win. If he could hang on. I don't know about the point standings. I'm gonna have to check back and see who's close enough for a championship. We'll have to wait and see. And here we go down the final corner. Here comes Grayson Acevedo into the corkscrew for the last time. Able to navigate the corkscrew perfectly. Might not have any more problems. It might be smooth sailing. Down the final turn, here comes Grayson Acevedo, and he will take the checkered flag in the Monterey Grand Prix at Laguna Seca, and he wins here in California. Grayson Acevedo caps off a dominant day by taking the checkers here at Laguna Seca. Pretty good race. So Acevedo's your winner, and our next race will be at the Glen. You do not want to miss the action at Watkins Glen International, and we're going to have a lot of fun with that. So anyway, hope you enjoyed our race from Laguna Seca, and we will see you guys next time as we head over to the Glen. Until then, we'll see you later.